Okay guys, today we're setting up a salt lab. I'm going to run it for you. You guys are going to evaluate the results and follow along week by week and fill in the data on your data sheets. And so salt is bad for plants. We have some different solutions of salt plus a mitigation treatment using gypsum and sulfur. And so I repeated this experiment using all the trials, and I did it 3 times. So that should iron out our data. You don't have to do all 3, but follow along with the 3 and pick the one you want to do, okay? So here we go. So this was just planted tonight. These lettuce plants are a variety called Jericho. Here is the Jericho lettuce that was seeded into these plug trays, and then from there I took the plugs out and planted 1 clump in each. Just keep in mind there's multiple seedlings in each one of these pots. And so this is the size of the pot. It's called a 4-inch pot. The lettuce is kind of hanging out to the side. It'll recover quickly, but that's just transplanting issue. It should stand up after I water it. So here's how I set it up. The 0%, each week I'm going to water in an actual 1/4 cup. Here is my 1/4 cup. And I'll have solutions, stock solutions to water each. And so even the 0% is going to get a 1/4 cup of just water. So this is our control. Keep in mind our area where these are going to be growing gets water spray twice a day, and then there's a little bit of nutrient in the water. So the plant gets everything it needs to grow. We're just looking at the salt. So 0% in the experiment, if you were doing this at home, you would just have to do a 0, a 2, a 5, and a 5 plus a mitigation treatment. I've done that, but I did it 3 times just to make sure everything is correct. So we got a 0%, we got a 2% solution, and so each week that's going to get a 1/4 cup of the 2% NaCl solution, which is sodium chloride. And this is 5% here. And notice these are in individual pots. So I'm going to pour that in. It's going to drain straight down. I'm going to actually not do this on a solid table. I'm going to do it on this expanded metal table. So when I pour the liquid solution, it's soluble. It should drain right down and out of the pot, any that the plant doesn't take out. This last row is where I did 5% salt. So that's the same as this one. But I added sulfur. This is pelletized sulfur. I added sulfur in 3 points and I pushed it down in there. This one I added gypsum as a mitigation treatment. This is pelletized gypsum. It's calcium. And I pushed that down in 3 points, down about 1 inch into the soil. And then the last one I did 5% salt plus gypsum and sulfur. So the mitigation treatment was just added once. The salt solutions will be added weekly. I will provide the data for you for each in leaf length, average leaf length. So I'm just going to pick an average size leaf and measure it on each one of these. And then overall quality of the plant. And so I'll take that data for you and then I'll provide it through a data sheet each week. All right? Thank you guys. Okay, here's how the data is going to work. So today is 10/7. You're going to copy this down right onto your data sheet. I used the 0%. The average leaf length was 6 inches. I took my trusty ruler. I stood these up at the 0% and I measured a couple of them. I got the average height for this whole row right here. I did that for each percentage except for these, the mitigation, each have their own measurements. So I'll provide this data for you in a raw format. So, and I noted overall plant conditions are right here at the bottom. I gave it a 5 because the plant is healthy, but on color change I gave it a 4 because being crowded in together, they're kind of a yellowy look. It wasn't too bad, but lettuce should be a little more green, so I gave it a 4 on quality, and I gave that to all of them. And I noted just transplanted. So on the back here, on my data sheet, I have the 2%, again the date, 2%, it was also 6 inches. Plant health, 5. Leaf color changes, 4, and it's a transplant. The 5%, same thing, 6 inches, 5, 4, transplant. And then on the mitigation, I put 5% mitigation plus. So the first one has the 5% plus sulfur, the next one has the 5% plus gypsum, the next one has the sulfur and gypsum. These two were a little shorter at 5 inches each, and the sulfur and gypsum plant was at 6 inch. I just planted them, the treatments just went in, so all this growth was something I inherited. So moving forward, we're going to see what happens. Again, 5 on quality, 4 on health, and I noted transplant. Okay, there's the plants. They're going to get salt now.